So I'm here with Coach Shawn Gibbs, and you just completed your first prospect camp. How everything go today, man?
It went good, smooth. We had a good number of kids out, around 170. So that was a good turnout for our first camp.
You see some talent out here, Coach?
Yeah, definitely. We saw some guys that have some size, some guys that can run, a lot of guys that were competing. I like the effort and the attitude of the guys. So it's exciting. And we have some guys that we're going to have to get on, start recruiting.
And of course, you got one more camp coming up. When is that? When is that date?
July 12th.
July 12th. That's the last chance. If you guys want to get a chance to get seen by Coach Gibbs and his staff, and they come July 12th at Truist Stadium.
Right. Last time in person where all of us will be there. Of course, we'll be on the road this season, checking guys out and watching some guys play. But last time to be evaluated by the full staff will be July 12th.
Yeah. And Coach, just talk a bit about this. You know, the whole the sense of coming full circle. I know you started your coaching career actually here at A&T, right?
Yeah, absolutely. My first time coaching was in 2002 under Coach Hayes. And then, you know, I left and went to North Carolina Central with Coach Broadway and stayed with him throughout his tenure at Central and Grambling. And then, of course, we came back here. And I was here from 2011 to 2021. So glad to be back here my third time. So pleased to be back. The family loves it.
Yeah, and that's kind of ironic because we're actually celebrating Bill Hayes' week on our site, Blue Death Valley.
Right.
And this is going to be the final day. And so he was actually the guy who gave you your first start. You give me a little bit of background on how you guys even crossed paths and why he gave you that chance.
Well, Coach Hayes and my father played together at North Carolina Central. So my father and I were actually driving to Durham, and we just stopped through Winston-Salem, kind of just to holler at Coach Hayes. And he asked me what I was going to do. And I told him I was thinking about getting into coaching. And he offered me an opportunity to come here. It was on a volunteer basis. My first year, but that right there got the ball started. And even though it was a volunteer position, Coach Hayes made sure that I was taken care of.
And what was your roles and responsibility during that first year?
Well, initially I started out in camp coaching the running backs because I think Richard Hayes, the head coach at Fayetteville State right now, was kind of doing something with residential life, so he wasn't available. So I started coaching the running backs, and then when he came back, I moved to tight ends.
What were some things you learned from that experience under Coach Hayes?
Oh, it was invaluable. Just on, you know, how to push guys, how to evaluate guys. You know, one thing that I use to this day when talking to other coaches is I remember a question I asked Coach Hayes about, you know, a running back that can't quite see the hole and doesn't have great vision. And I said, Coach, well, what do you do in that situation? And he said, quite simply, get you another one.
Sounds like him.
Yeah.
That sounds like
but
him.
That's real.
Yeah.
So, and I've kept that. You know, that's a position where, you know, it comes natural. You got to teach them a lot of things, but if they can't see it, you got to find you one that can.
We have a lot of coaches on our show, a lot of former players who've gotten into coaching. They always talk about how Coach Hayes always helped them from afar, made a phone call, gave them a recommendation. Did he do the same thing to help your career?
Absolutely. Of course, anytime that I've been up for a job, they've reached out to Coach Hayes, and Coach Hayes has spoken on my behalf. You know, he's well known. Matter of fact, the athletic director at Fort Valley State that gave me my first opportunity to be a head coach, Dr. Anthony Holloman, worked here with Coach Hayes. He was at A&T, so that was that connection that helped it tremendously.
Yeah, and I'm sure he gave you some advice when he found out you were coming back here this year as a new head coach. What wisdom did he impart on you?
Well, he's still giving me advice. and yeah, absolutely. And he's let me know that anytime I need anything, just pick up the phone and give him a call. And, you know, just telling me to stick to what I know, trust in it, believe in it, and work your butt off for it.
Okay, real quick, for the A&T fans looking forward to 2025, what's the outlook, man? What should we look forward to?
Well, we're working hard. I think the guys have improved tremendously. They're doing a great job in the weight room with Coach Harbor. So we look to be improved. We're not a team that, you know, puts a lot of stock in results. We're all about the process, and we believe that if we stay true to the process, things will work out how they're supposed to. But as of right now, I love the way the guys are working. We've added some pieces, so I'm excited to get started.
Okay, last, just give me a final thought on as we cap Bill Hayes Celebration Week. Why is it important for fans and even the younger players today to go back in history and learn about these living legends, these icons? Why is that so important?
We can't forget about them, because without those guys, we wouldn't be here. And I don't think we understand the sacrifices that people like Coach Hayes made, not only the impact that he made here, but Coach Hayes was the first black coach in the ACC. So he's done things throughout this region that people need to understand, and we need to recognize it. And we got to really give our guys our legends their flowers while they're alive. We can't talk about them when they're gone. We need to let Coach Hayes and Coach Broadway and Coach Washington and all these, Coach Pugh down at South Carolina State, all these great coaches know how much we appreciate them all.